What if your own expressions are subtly distancing others? After 70, our words hold even greater significance. Words that once seemed innocuous can gradually create a sense of isolation, often without our awareness. At this point in life, the importance of connection reaches new heights. However, it also grows increasingly delicate. Numerous older individuals express their feelings of hurt or disillusionment, often unaware that specific words gradually create unseen barriers between themselves and their loved ones. It's unfortunate that their intentions are usually good. They fail to see that their repeated expressions can leave others feeling helpless, uncomfortable, or even rejected. If you've ever pondered why individuals engage less, or why a hush descends when you share your thoughts, it may not be a matter of age, but rather the choice of your expressions. In this video, I will guide you through 7 common phrases that individuals over 70 might use, which can inadvertently create distance with others. This isn't about glossing over reality or acting as if everything is okay. It's about grasping how your words can either create connections or sever them. The reality is, you are not isolated due to your age. Your solitude may stem from the signals you are inadvertently conveying. However, there is a silver lining. As soon as you identify these patterns, you can begin to transform them, starting now. Stay with me right to the finish. The 7th point is likely to catch you off guard the most. Let us commence. First and foremost, the expression, "I'm merely a weight now." Nothing quiets a space quite like the words, "I'm just a burden now." It's a statement that might emerge from profound fatigue or subtle hopelessness. However, for those in your vicinity, it fails to foster connection. Instead, it stifles it. Those who truly care for you do not perceive you as a weight to bear. However, when you define yourself in that manner, others may struggle to react appropriately. They experience a sense of powerlessness, burdened by guilt, or perhaps even harboring feelings of resentment. Not due to a lack of love, but rather from uncertainty about whether to offer comfort, present a challenge, or remain quiet. Gradually, they cease to visit, fearful of igniting the same sorrowful echo time and time again. In our conversations, we often find ourselves inadvertently putting others in a difficult ethical position. It's a quiet challenge: demonstrate your concern or risk being part of the issue. And that's quite substantial. For many, the experience of loneliness often starts not with a lack of presence, but with emotional barriers, remarks that hinder rather than foster connection. Consider Helen, 83, who once served as a school secretary in Pennsylvania. Following the loss of her husband, her daughter started making weekly visits, bringing along groceries and engaging in heartfelt conversation. However, as time went on, Helen began to echo the sentiment, "You shouldn't squander your time on a past weight like me." Initially, her daughter offered her comfort. However, she gradually started to reduce the length of her visits, not from any ill intent, but because each discussion concluded with a sense of guilt. Helen aimed to keep her daughter close, yet the words she chose created distance between them. In reality, claiming to be a burden does not reflect true humility. It's a guise of humility cloaked in hopelessness. Despair pushes away the warmth it secretly yearns for. What fosters connection is gratitude, not regret. Consider expressing that you feel immense gratitude. "You prioritize me when you really didn't have to." Thankfulness unlocks. Self-deprecation limits possibilities. This change in expression isn't about deception. It's about selecting language that draws in affection instead of pushing it away. Individuals genuinely wish to support you. Ensure they don't feel as though they're overstepping by arriving. Secondly, the expression, "Nobody gets me anymore." The words carry a subtle bite. It feels like no one truly gets me anymore. It may resonate deeply, particularly as the world hurries onward. And your existence begins to seem as though it is from a bygone age. However, this phrase fails to create connections. It sears them. When you voice it, what others perceive isn't merely your suffering, but an understated charge. It implies they have let you down or that their attempts to reach out fall short. When individuals sense that victory is out of reach, they ultimately cease their efforts. What begins as a sincere revelation of solitude can swiftly transform into a barrier. As time goes by, those in your circle might cease to express their opinions or seek your input, as the signal becomes unmistakable. We stand on opposing shores of an unbridgeable divide. It feels lonely, not from a desire to distance yourself, but because the words created that separation on their own. Consider Robert, 79, a former engineer hailing from Ohio. His grandchildren would come over and discuss social media, video games, or music. Initially, Robert paid attention, even if he occasionally struggled to keep up. Yet, one day following a tale about their beloved new application, he remarked with a weary exhale, "I don't understand any of this. It seems that no one truly gets me these days." It was a casual comment. However, following that, their visits began to dwindle. During their visits, the exchanges were brief, and the laughter was subdued. They aimed to avoid making him feel any more uncomfortable. Thus, they ceased to include him in their realm. What Robert failed to realize was that their intention was to include him, not out of an expectation for him to grasp every nuance, but rather from a desire to foster a sense of connection. A connection was being offered, yet his words softly shut the door. Here's what holds greater strength: curiosity. Even when the world seems unfamiliar, consider asking, "What do you find enjoyable about that?" Or what does that imply keeps you within the boundaries? It's not necessary to grasp every detail to maintain a sense of connection. One must simply be ready to embrace possibilities. If you're still engaged with this video and appreciating these insights, kindly drop a number 2 in the comments to show your presence. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly suggest you do so and activate the notification bell to ensure you catch every video that comes your way. Your encouragement enables us to keep producing valuable content that informs and inspires you. Let's proceed onward. Thirdly, the expression "I have nothing more to give." Few expressions resonate with such quiet acceptance as the words, "I've got nothing left to give." At first glance, it might seem like a mere indication of weariness or modesty, yet beneath it lies a subtle capitulation. As you utter those phrases repeatedly, they start to take root in your mind. What truly matters is that those in your vicinity begin to accept them as well. And that is precisely where the harm starts. This expression evokes a sense of emotional emptiness. It conveys to your children, your friends, and even your neighbors that you've stepped away, that your wisdom, your humor, your presence, none of it is active anymore. It gently dissuades others from relying on you, from incorporating you, from welcoming you into discussions where your insights could truly illuminate. I once knew a remarkable woman named Elaine, 81, who had experienced a fulfilling life as both a teacher and a dedicated community volunteer. However, following the loss of her husband, she gradually ceased participating in church groups or neighborhood gatherings. When asked if she would participate, she would just respond, "Oh, I have nothing more to give." And in time, they ceased to inquire. She believed she was being humble, even alleviating others of the burden. Yet, in reality, she was quieting the voice that had once inspired her community. The reality is, there is always something you can contribute. The narratives you weave, the essence you bring, the viewpoint you share. These are significant matters. Indeed, they are unmatched. At times, the most valuable offering you can provide is simply being present, lending an ear, exchanging a chuckle, or reassuring someone that they have company in their journey. When you declare that you have nothing left to give, you deprive the world of something truly precious. Your ongoing presence as a wellspring of significance and relationship. And even more troubling, you begin to deprive yourself of that very truth. The words we express have a profound impact on our beliefs. Instead, you might express it as, I may not possess the same energy as before, but I remain present. Though I may have aged, my care runs deep. The change in expression conveys to both others and yourself that your significance endures. For the simple reason that you do. That reminder, repeated frequently, has the power to unlock opportunities you may not have realized were still within reach. Fourthly, the expression, I don't wish to impose. This one resonates with a sense of honor. It is infused with modesty, discipline, and a seemingly genuine regard for those around. Yet, beneath that gentle surface, the sentiment of not wanting to be a burden holds a profoundly isolating significance. For numerous older individuals, the act of revisiting this notion transforms into a subtle form of self-neglect. When you continuously express it, even in subtle manners, you begin to diminish your significance in the lives of those who genuinely wish to support you. It might begin with turning down a trip to the doctor, dismissing a dinner invitation, or sidestepping a discussion about your true feelings. Every time it appears innocuous. Yet gradually, the people in your life start to think that you genuinely don't desire assistance, don't seek companionship, don't crave connection. They cease to offer, not out of indifference, but rather in an attempt to respect your desires. I once knew an older gentleman named Paul, who was 84 years old. He had 3 adult children who resided within an hour's journey. Yet, whenever they inquired if he required anything, groceries, errands, or even just some companionship, he would consistently respond, "No, I'm fine. I wish to avoid being a source of inconvenience." As time passed, the calls became less frequent, not due to a lack of love, but rather from a desire to avoid imposing. Paul sat alone at home, pondering the absence of visitors, unaware that the very words he often repeated had constructed the barriers that isolated him. In reality, accepting assistance from others does not equate to being a burden. It's the essence of humanity. It allows them to express their love for you through meaningful actions, creating one of the most profound connections we can share. When you express, "I don't want to be a burden," what your children or friends might interpret is, "Keep your distance," or even worse, "I lack the confidence to rely on your love." Rather, consider expressing gratitude by saying, "Thank you. I would be truly grateful for that." Your inquiry holds significant meaning. These responses validate connection without shame. They maintain the connection between you and those who matter the most. If you're still engaged with this video and appreciating these insights, I'd love for you to comment number 4 below to show me you're present. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly suggest you do so and activate the notification bell to ensure you never miss any of the videos. Your encouragement enables us to keep producing valuable content that informs and inspires you. Let us proceed onward. Number 5, the expression, "It's too late for me." Few expressions close off potential more swiftly than declaring "it's too late for me." It may seem conclusive, even innocuous, yet it sows a quiet, enduring sense of surrender. When this notion is echoed frequently, it not only closes doors to opportunities but also diminishes hope, dignity, and the possibility for transformation. In reality, age does not exclude you from the possibilities of growth, purpose, or joy. There was a time when I encountered a remarkable woman named Gloria, who was 79 years old then. With her husband gone, her children scattered across distant places, she found herself withdrawing from the few social engagements she once enjoyed. During a quaint community luncheon, a curious soul inquired if she had ever considered the idea of volunteering. Gloria smiled gently and murmured, "It's too late for me." The moment lingered in my mind, as I noticed in her gaze a profound sense of doubt about her own worth and what she could still give. That phrase, a mere 5 words, had turned into her reason to remain concealed from the world. What I wish Gloria had understood is that some of the most significant moments in life unfold in the later chapters. Consider this: as time goes on, understanding grows, empathy expands, and even the smallest acts, such as a thoughtful remark or a tale exchanged over a cup of coffee, gain significant weight. After reaching the age of 70, many individuals discover that the weight of expectations diminishes, allowing a sense of liberation to take its place. Not the liberty to surrender, but the liberty to exist according to your own principles. When you declare it's too late for me, you hinder your own progress before it even has the opportunity to take flight. You remove yourself from the competition before anyone else has the chance to do so. That's the heart of the matter, for often the door wasn't fully shut, it merely required a gentle push. Rather than declaring that the opportunity has passed, consider inquiring about what remains achievable. A single change in wording can open up a whole new avenue. Whether it's embracing watercolor painting, mastering video chat to connect with grandchildren, or joining a local walking group, each action conveys, I am present, I hold significance. If you found yourself using that phrase, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect, as there's still time to reconsider. This moment could truly be the ideal time. Number 6, the expression, no one requires my presence any longer. A subtle ache takes root when a person begins to feel that their presence is no longer essential. The statement, no one needs me anymore, conveys more than mere solitude. It bears the burden of being unseen, of experiencing the sensation of being abandoned by a world that appears to progress without your presence. For numerous older adults, particularly those who have dedicated their lives to caring for others, this phrase may resonate as the concluding chapter of their journey. However, that conviction is rarely accurate. Often, it's not that your presence is no longer valued, rather, the manner in which you are valued has evolved. During your earlier days, perhaps you were nurturing children, overseeing a home, or making your mark in your career. That position provided you with a distinct sense of direction. Yet, as you enter your 70s or 80s, a sense of purpose may not always be defined by a title. It manifests as knowledge handed down, a genuine presence extended, and compassion given without expectation. Consider Leonard, for example. At 83, he resided in solitude, often preferring his own company. He frequently confided in his neighbor, I can't quite understand why I'm still here. I feel like I'm not needed by anyone. One winter, amidst a power outage, that same neighbor approached me seeking assistance with starting a generator. Leonard dedicated his life to the craft of mechanics. In that instant, every ounce of his accumulated wisdom held profound significance. And, most significantly, he truly experienced it. He didn't express that no one requires him anymore. Feeling valued goes beyond just being occupied or sought after. It's about understanding that you have the power to create change, even through subtle, unassuming actions. A conversation with a friend, a message of support to a younger relative, a reminiscence exchanged with a neighbor. These are significant actions. They serve as essential connections. They serve as a reminder to both others and ourselves that our existence holds significance. When you feel your presence is no longer required, you cease to make an effort to connect. You withdraw, and that sense of solitude deepens. Yet, when you come to understand that there is someone who gains from simply listening to your voice, your narrative, your joy, it transforms everything. If you're still engaged with this video and appreciating these insights, kindly drop a comment with the number 6 below to show me you're present. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly suggest you do so and activate the notification bell to ensure you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Your support enables us to keep producing valuable content that informs and inspires you. Let us proceed onward. Number 7, the expression, it's too late for me. Among all the thoughts we entertain, this particular one holds the most formidable barrier against the realm of potential. Claiming it's too late for me stifles the mind, the heart, and the future all at once. It's a saying that encourages you to cease your efforts, to abandon your aspirations, to settle down in silence and allow the world to move on without you. However, the reality is that it's rarely too late unless you convince yourself that it is. Aging is not merely an ending, it's a continuation of the story we tell ourselves. It's merely a new page in the story. While you may not possess the same speed or physical strength as before, the wealth of life experience, emotional understanding, and spiritual richness you've acquired is invaluable. Such depth and richness are not typically found in your 30s or 40s. It has been accumulated over many years and is intended to be utilized, shared, and experienced, rather than concealed beneath the notion that it's too late. A man named Clarence embarked on his writing journey, penning his first book at the age of 82. He had always dreamed of it, yet circumstances continually intervened. Following the loss of his wife, he took a seat and began to write, not out of a belief that the world was anticipating his words, but because his spirit craved the release. The book transformed into a treasure, offering solace not only to his grandchildren but also to those unfamiliar souls who discovered warmth in his prose. If Clarence had convinced himself it was too late, none of that would have transpired. It's important to understand that the phrase, "it's too late," transcends mere time constraints. It revolves around fear. It's the anxiety of potential failure, the worry that your efforts will go unnoticed, or the dread of feeling humiliated for even attempting. However, what could be more disheartening than experiencing failure is the decision to not attempt anything at all, leaving you with a lingering sense of regret that shadows your life endlessly. At 70, 80, even 90, there's always an opportunity to compose that letter you've been wanting to share. Embrace a new pastime. You often prioritize or alter how you regard yourself and those around you. Age does not limit your ability to forgive, to heal, to find joy and laughter, or to embrace a life filled with purpose. The sole barrier lies in the narrative you continuously tell yourself. If you catch yourself thinking, "It's too late for me," take a moment to pause, breathe, and consider, too late for what exactly? The answer may catch you off guard, for as long as you are present, alive, contemplating, and experiencing, it is never too late to start anew. Concluding reflections. As we age, the language we select starts to influence the emotional terrain of our lives. They can choose to create connections or erect barriers. The 7 phrases we've examined today might appear innocuous initially, yet gradually, they erode our relationships, self-assurance, and tranquility. In reality, many of us are unaware that we are expressing those thoughts. They weave themselves into the fabric of daily dialogue, subtly inflicting their harm. However, the silver lining is that recognizing the issue is the initial move towards transformation. Upon identifying these patterns, you have the power to make different choices. Your words have the power to bring vitality to your everyday moments. It's important to allow yourself some kindness and to share that kindness with those around you. The manner in which we converse with ourselves and engage with others holds greater significance than we frequently acknowledge. After reaching 70, each word carries greater significance, as the number of genuine listeners diminishes and the moments that truly hold meaning become more apparent. Here's the key takeaway I hope you gather from this video. You are free from the confines of outdated expressions. You are free to explore beyond the familiar expressions you've relied on. Embrace the ability to reshape your story, not only for your own sake but also for those who care about you within your community. There remains an opportunity to inspire, to motivate, and to demonstrate to others the essence of strength, wisdom, and grace in their truest form. We appreciate your presence with us today. We eagerly await your response. Share your thoughts in the comments and tell us one insight you gained today and how you intend to apply it in your life. Your insights matter greatly, so feel free to express them. Your feedback inspires and uplifts us immensely. If this video resonated with you and proved useful, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with others. Your support enables us to keep producing valuable content that informs and inspires you. Thank you for tuning in. We eagerly anticipate your presence in the upcoming video.